Hi, Cheryl Mays from Rise and Shine CF. I am so excited to come to you today. As you can see, I'm doing something a little different. I'm spending my time learning different platforms on the internet versus using Zoom. Everybody is on Zoom, so I have gone to StreamYard, and I actually like it. It's got some nice little gadgets that you can actually play with, and so this is where I will be streaming from moving forward is on StreamYard. And, I could have had this great, pretty PowerPoint as I've been doing these segments for a very long time. I could have had some nice PowerPoints, which I do have when I actually have a consultation with a company that's interested in using Lean Six Sigma. But for this, I just wanted it to be plain talk, where you just understand. And if it resonates with you and you want to continue a conversation about implementing a improvement plan that has sustainability, then definitely contact me and we can actually reach out and have a conversation with you about it. So we are in, I think, day 21 of coronavirus, and we are now going under a stay for the state of Florida, as some of the other states are and some aren't, but we are trying to contain this virus so that we can all move forward quickly. And when we do get ready and are able to get back into our new normal, that we have just learned so much over this time, as far as being with family, as far as allowing ourselves the opportunity to actually learn something, take something away from this, so that it's not just all fear and worry, but there is gratitude and appreciation. And even in the midst of this, there is something to be grateful about. And so as a business owner, one of the things that I'm looking at, and one of the things that a lot of other owners are looking at, is what does that recovery look like? And so I have spent the last several days, maybe a week and a half, sharing Lean Six Sigma, which is a quality improvement program that has sustainability. It helps in so many facets for your business. It helps your employees because it increases their capabilities. It helps your customers because it adds value to those things that they deem to be important. And it allows the business to increase its profit margin by decreasing its cost, but remaining the same at the price. And so when you start thinking about Lean Six Sigma, please visit the past sessions that are on YouTube. They are on my Facebook at riseandshine.success. And they are also on snapshots that I do every day. At the end of the day, I do a very quick version. It's actually on LinkedIn, so you can follow me there also as Cheryl Mays. So let's go ahead and get started, because we were talking about the driving forces of Lean Six Sigma. The first one being the staff, the second one being the DMAIC model. And now here's the third driving force. And this one is very, very vital. And it's the communication aspect. How does this program, how is it communicated to your organization? Now, oftentimes that's the missing F. If you're looking for a missing F, it's typically in the communication, because there hasn't been a lot of emphasis put as to how we're going to communicate, what we're going to communicate, all of the things that we want to communicate. And as I was having some fun here, I did have some banners that I created. So let's see. I'm still learning how to use this. I did a practice. There it is. Communication is vital. So as we are actually moving forward, this is the third driving element, which is communication. Now, why this is so important is because a lot of times what happens during this program, during this project, is that all of our leaders, as well as the Lean Six Sigma team, is actually focused on the processing. They're focused on the improvements. They're focused on all of the things related to the project. And typically what happens is those that are outside of the project are not really sure about what's happening. They just know that this is another component of what the company is doing. And I don't know how often companies like yourself are actually doing improvement programs, but sometimes it's just the flavor of the month. And so in order for this to be sustainable, in order for this to be received as a positive from the organization employees, then they need to be in on the communication. They need to be in on the celebrations of the milestones. So it's very, very important that they actually have the ability to understand what's going on. Oftentimes, what I've heard from employees is that they knew a little bit about something, but they didn't really know the full scope of what was going on. And they typically had someone from the Lean Sigma team come and ask them a question. And they kind of took it offensively, as if, I do this all the time, why are you questioning me about it? Because they haven't been fully introduced to the team. The team has not been allowed to communicate effectively with the individuals in the organization. So that's why communication is so vital for this program. Now, when you look at it, there's 3 levels of communication. There's the level from the bosses. And now that's really important, because the bosses need to understand, the leaders, the hierarchy, the top of the tier, need to understand that they also have to communicate with the employees. They have to communicate with their leaders that are below them on a daily basis. You have to ask the questions. How is the project going? That means that it's still on people's mind. And if there are any other pieces to the project, one thing that you don't want to have is the Lean Six Sigma team to actually come up with an improvement plan, only to have management change something along the line, and they have not communicated that to the team. And so now the team feels as though they're not important, they're not respected, they're not appreciated for the amount of work that they've put in, because decisions have been made without them to those that are up at the top of the pier. So you want to make sure that the bosses are actually communicating any updates and information, so that the leaders below them can actually communicate that to their folks that can actually communicate it to the entire organization. Also with the project team members, and I wrote down here just to make sure that I said that, and it's to make sure that they're clear on not only the purpose, but the goals, the boundaries, and the expectations of their project. Think about it. There's nothing like putting in a lot of work, a lot of mental time, a lot of emotional time, as well as a lot of physical time and energy into a project, only to not be sure that this is actually what is being looked at. So it's kind of like if you are doing a project and all of a sudden you're not sure if you have the ability to make that decision, because you don't know what the boundaries are as to where you need to go and ask for someone else to be able to help you, or if you are able to actually make that decision and then disseminate it. So all of that has to be clear for the team to be able to function effectively. And then we want them to ask questions, because curiosity is something that happens in all organizations, but typically what happens is that the answers come by the water fountain, or the answers come in the break room. And then that's how misinformation gets disseminated. And that's how Lean Six Sigma has these myths that we debunked in session 1 about Lean Six Sigma replacing employees, because that's not the program. It is a people-centric program. So it is going to enhance the skill sets of your employees. And so what you have the ability to do is to allow the project team members to understand not only their importance, but they understand that they also have an element of communication that they have for their departments and for those individuals. And then the third one is to the staff, which is the rest of the organization. And, rather they are involved directly or indirectly, there's still going to be questions that they just might not have asked. So making sure that you have a stream of communications. There's that term about over communicating. Well, for this program, you want to over communicate, because you want people to think about it every day. You want them to start looking at processes and you want them to start process thinking. This is going to allow each department to operate effectively, each individual to assume responsibility and accountability for the role that they play and the results that they produce. And so communication is just so truly vital for the sustainability of the program. And it's vital because you want people on the same page and you want people to speak the language. And I think that's huge. Whenever there is a culture shift, whenever there is a leader shift, then the communication shift changes, the language changes, because people use different languages. And so for everyone to be able to understand exactly what's going on, you want to make sure that they understand the terminology. You want to make sure that they understand the language of what's happening. And so there you have it. That is the important element of communication. Now, embedded into Lean Six Sigma is an opportunity for that communication piece, that entire stream of how we're going to communicate it, when we're going to communicate it, how much are we going to communicate at pivotal times of the project. And then how do we communicate the celebration so that people know we are actually achieving what we've set out to do. And so you want to make sure that that happens also. So thank you for joining me. Cheryl Mays, Rise and Shine CF, as you see on the screen now. I love this program. Thinking Lean Six Sigma, a sustainability program for businesses, not only in time of crises, but for businesses for survival. Now, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to me. I am going to place here my website, www.risingandshining.com. There it is, risingandshining.com. You can visit my website, which is actually during this time is being revamped. So you can reach out to me either Facebook, LinkedIn, any of the social media handles. My website, again, is that. My social media is Rise and Shine CF. My LinkedIn is Cheryl Mays. So feel free to contact me in any fashion. And then via email, I'm going to do this again. Here we go, Rising. And here that is information at risingandshining.com. Feel free to email me there, and I will gladly answer any questions. A consultation, we can set up a call. We can talk a little more in depth about it. As I stated, there is a PowerPoint that works with this. If you're a visual person and you need that, but for this, I just wanted people to be able to understand it in plain terms and be able to think, is this truly for me? So I believe it is for you, because improvement processes is a elimination of waste, and waste elimination can increase your profit just as much, if not more, than increasing prices. So think about that. Have an amazing day. Remember, we are all in this together, and we are going to be resilient, and we are going to persevere. Have an amazing day. Thank you.